So, all right. So a few weeks back, I mentioned that I was a bit cautious because S&P 500 wasn't tracking the Nasdaq. So if we look at NDX, so we're here in the Investa charts. So we see here the Nasdaq 100. You can see a major divergence forming here, right? And up to now, it's still a divergence. But the challenge with trading divergences or considering them in your analysis is if we don't see a confirmation yet, then sometimes the market can just trend. So like they say, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So I'm not saying that the market is irrational right now, but what the essence of that statement is, the essence of that statement is that the market can go as long as it wants on whatever direction that it wants, farther than how we can defend our opinions. So that's the common challenge in trading or in investing, that some of our initial opinions may be wrong and the market will just move on its own. So the important thing is that we attune our opinions to how the market is moving. So if you wanted to be cautious, then you have to look for the right confirmations. So previously, I was looking at the divergence here, but my confirmation signal if the market was about to correct or crash was a close below 9750 or 98. But as you can see here, Nasdaq just held above its 20-day EMA, meaning on the short-term trend, it's still intact, right? So pretty strong. And now if we look at what's happening currently, so let's take a look at its chart. So it's correcting a bit right now after reaching 11,000. So maybe the divergence is just manifesting today. Okay, so we see this divergence here. And now if we look at what's happening today, you input your 20-day EMA, it's around the 10,380 level, okay? So we're at 10.5 right now. So if the market shows more weakness at 10.3, and then of course the strongest support here would be the 10,000 level. That would be the time where we try to shift our stance and maybe look for shorts in the Nasdaq. So as of the moment, it's still strong. There are divergences, but the market has shown us that it can go higher if there's no confirmation. And then if you look at the RSI, my rule in divergences, so you see that the inability to sustain RSI 70 plus here, and then you see a lower high here, right? So that's an initial warning sign. But what we want to see, the correction or the momentum will really shift on the downside if the market breaks below RSI 50. Okay, so you should be wary of that. Usually if a stock or an asset trades and sustains below RSI 50, then that's where momentum on the downside will continue. Okay, so as of now, it's still intact on the uptrend, but we're just observing. Okay, so same thing goes with the S&P 500 SPX. So we were mentioning about the gaps in the around this area, 3,200. So the market just filled that recently. We had a fade 3-4 days ago on the 3.2 level, but then we had another recovery day and then the market traded above that. So my initial shorts were stopped out, and that's just part of the game. That's natural. So now that the market is trading above 3,200 and perhaps there's bullishness, the market is anticipating the coming of all of these vaccines for nCoV. We're not sure if they priced that already, but that can give an additional kick. So I'm not gonna turn bearish ASAP as of the moment, since the gap was filled already. So what I'm looking at besides the divergence in Nasdaq is we're still waiting if the market will suddenly break below 3,050 or 3K. Okay, so those can be strong supports as well. So for now, if S&P continues to trade above 3.2 than 3.3, then we can see a stronger trend on the broader market. That means that the general market of USA is recovering. So that can be a good sign. So as of now, we just filled that warning gap, and we should observe what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 days from here. Are we going to trend to 3 to 50, 3 and above? All right, so that's for the Nasdaq. An interesting asset that we've been highlighting is gold. So we broke above the 1750 level here, and it's just continuing to have a healthy consolidation above the 18 level. So the thing about gold is, so we have real-time commodities in Investagrams. The thing about gold, what I like about it is it's a good defensive play for the current environment in the markets. It's just around 7-8% from the all-time highs of 1920. So this would be interesting if it continues to trade stronger above 1780 to 18 around this level. So these are the short-term supports that I'm looking at. So 1780 is around at this point. So those are the support levels that I'm looking at from here. Short-term support levels. Okay, so now let's take a look at the PSEI. So recently, in the last trading day, or last 3 to 5 trading days, unlike the global markets, we've been encountering weakness in the PSEI. And that's a bit challenging because if the market was really strong, then we should have gotten a good consolidation above 6.2 and then a trend upward to 6.4, 6.5, right? But instead, the market broke below the short-term trend, EMA 20, and then yesterday it broke below the EMA 50. So touching almost the 6,000 support level. So right now the market is showing that, okay, 6K is a strong support. We see initial recovery, but then comparing to other global markets, such as what's happening in Nasdaq, you can see here that the trend is really smooth, right? It's just above 20-day EMA 50. But if you compare where PSE is right now, it's like in terms of market phases, we're just at this point. So it's as if we're trading at the 2.8 level when compared to the SPX, right? We're just at the lower consolidation. We haven't really made new highs or shown impressive strength. So we're just in this short-term consolidation mode between 6,000 and 6.4 area. Okay, so right now we're recovering a bit. We had a 2% recovery, but then my guts is telling me that any spikes to 6.2, 6,300 may be an opportunity to trim. Okay, so why do I say that? Because there's a reason why Philippines is lagging compared to other regional markets or the US markets. If we were one of the darlings of the darling exchanges or the darling markets of today, then we should have already broken out of the 6.4 or 6.5 level by now. So this is where we see some of the concerns on the micro level on our country, whether it's slowing of the GDP, whether it's government concerns and stuff like that. There are other reasons why investors are shifting to a more cautious stance. But of course, you don't let your opinions or biases go into your trades. So the real approach here is you have to observe what the index is doing. So we've wait. So we've managed to hold above the 6K level for now. That is good. But then if we look at some of the names in the market, like let's say BPI, most of them are in the initial support levels. So if you still believe, or if your bias is that in the next 3 months, 6 months, we're gonna have a good economic recovery, or sentiment in the Philippines would be positive, then probably you'd be buying into these dips, right? But then if you see that, hey, there may be a bigger risk in the Philippines. Sample the recent closing of ABS-CBN. That's one issue, though it's just about one company. It tells a lot about how things are operating in the country. So even if it's just one company, what if it happens to other companies, other industries? That can be a concern. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Well, what's important is all of our buying and selling should be based still on our system. So if you're a technical trader, you should look at the trends. So we're barely holding above EMA 50 as of now. If it recovers more in the next few days, then good, right? But if we see breakdowns, SECB, it's at 100 support, but then if it continues to break down, then probably going to see downward momentum from here. Let's take a look at other stocks. AGI, it's at the 6 peso mark, but no interest yet. So again, you have to take a look at your strategy first. So whether you're a technical trader or an investor, does these price levels look attractive to you already based on your parameters? So are the valuations good already, or are the support levels attractive based on your system, or do you have to wait for a better confirmation?